Maybe that commitment to the shot calling is in
Yeah,
this game that we were talking about.
It actually did feel a little bit desync there, but we'll see what changes they do find because we are into champ select here. We'll have a look at the bans that LeBlanc and Azir will actually start things off here, but Anivia's banned by SuperMassive, so 3 mid lane bans to kick things off.
What this says to me is that
Hard
Random haven't actually figured out why they lost. They're looking at the Azir thinking, oh, Azir's so strong. Oh, wait, never mind.
They got the
Maokai.
They're on top of it.
All right, awesome. In that case, those are very good bans. Don't know about the Azir ban. I don't think they really had that many issues with Azir, and I think that without the Maokai, they would be able to handle it this game. But they banned the Maokai, and we'll see whether or not they take that Graves first pick.
Well, they have to ban Echo, right?
Yeah, the Echo's going to be still
They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. I think they do. Absolutely. Just ban Echo. Don't risk it. Let him have the Graves. You've already beaten it once.
Nope.
Okay,
Echo's up.
That's what, a 5th mid lane ban?
Yeah.
So clearly you pick Echo over Graves here, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Smurf doesn't hesitate. He takes it.
I mean, unless Echo... Smurf has played Echo, and he's won both times.
Yeah.
He's played it twice. Like,
Good champion.
I don't... Yeah, look.
And you don't give Soldier an Echo.
No, of course not.
That's the other thing. They have to deny the Echo. I mean, they absolutely had to take Echo, and... Yeah, I mean, I think they win, really.
I mean, he's lost, what, 1 whole game?
Sorry, guys, spoilers, but yeah, that's it. It's 1-1. Let's move on.
Don't even need the other picks. Supermassive, they are going to have to make some, as per the rules of the tournament.
You know what I'd really like to see? I'd like to see them lock in this Olaf. I've been saying for a few weeks now, just within my team or within the guys that I talk to, that I think Olaf could do quite well in the lane phase. Eventually, he's going to get outscaled. But in the lane phase, I think Olaf can beat Echo. And if you can kill him, if you can get a lead, Olaf can run over Echo before Echo gets to that 3-item spike.
I have bad news. That's not Echo. Sorry, that's not. That is Echo. It's not Olaf. That's Poppy and Lucian. Could be a Poppy support, to be fair.
Yep.
Supermassive maybe going to hide that top lane.
Although he has played Poppy in the top lane. And with the Maokai off the table, maybe he's thinking like, oh, you know, there's probably not much anything that's much better. But Echo beats Poppy. Echo beats everyone. So I won't even talk about Echo. Poppy, I think, should be the support. I think Dumbledore has played really well all tournament, on this Poppy, and I think they should save the top lane pick for something else.
I think Hard Random should just go for the Graves Sivir or Graves Lissandra. I would actually like the Lissandra.
Lissandra's banned.
Oh, Lissandra's banned. All right.
Rip.
I
mean, I agree they should, but unfortunately can't.
Yeah.
The Graves, again, is kind of hilarious.
Taking Sivir, I mean, there's no need to because they've already taken the Lucian. But I think that maybe they're just trying to wait out to see what the other picks will be before they pick their mid laner.
Well, there's Graves and Sivir once again. Mr. Stayhorse will get Graves. Still doesn't have to show another champion.
Well, I mean, because they lost doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right, Supermassive dealt with the Graves. Graves got fed, and Supermassive still managed to win. So from their perspective, Graves is not that big a threat.
It is a Poppy top.
Yes, it is Poppy top. Bard was very good. Got to deny the Bard. Instant Thresh lock in. Curious. I thought his performance on Ali was quite good. And I think Ali Graves is a good combo because you can line them up for the end of the line collateral damage combination with the Hellbot Pulve. But this Thresh is a bit more aggressive, stronger in lane. So maybe they'll look for the 2v2 this time instead of the lane swap.
Now Kira has to decide what he's going to pick. Maybe he could pick up the Gangplank and maybe influence the map more with his Gangplank ult?
He hasn't actually won a game on Gangplank yet.
Yeah.
He looks okay on Gangplank, but we've said this all wildcards. It's all about CC. And right now, they don't have much. They have the Echo W, they have a slow from Echo, and they have Thresh, and that's it. Very little CC. So I think picking the GP would be a mistake here. I think he needs to pick something with more CC.
What's left is the question.
Yeah, not much.
Because there are so many mid lane bans. He actually goes back to Vlad.
Wow.
See,
that does not have any CC.
Blind pick Vlad. We'll have to see if Supermassive have a counter, but... Oh, sorry, Lulu. Not blind pick.
Last week jungle, randomly, actually.
Okay.
I mean, Vlad's kind of cool. Like Graves is kind of spicy, but that's not a whole lot of hard engage.
No.
Liquid's going to have to do a lot of work.
How are they going to kill this Lucian? They have Lulu Lucian.
And Kindred.
And Kindred, and Poppy, and Bard. Like, how are they
We're
actually going to get
away
off
from the LCK boys.
He's going to have to flash ult. Like, they're all just going to have to flash at once and hope that the other team doesn't realize what's going on.
Yeah, and Liquid's just going to do some magic and... Yeah, just
maybe buy some frozen mallets, some Rylai's.
Yeah, I mean, turn into a wizard because maybe magic is what they need. But we are going to see what happens. Let's get in the game with the guys at the casting desk.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to the caster desk. And that was a very interesting draft once again. A lot of stuff going on here. Echo being a priority for hard random because you basically have to if it's left up. But I'm a little surprised that SuperMassive didn't put more pressure on Smurf because like the analysts are saying, like we were saying, doesn't seem like Smurf has a really good champion pool outside of Maokai or Poppy. And even the Poppy wasn't super good. So if you put pressure on him, but maybe they know something that we don't because they had priority on their own Poppy and a Lucian as a flex. So.
I mean, I understand what everyone's saying, that Echo has had a phenomenal performance and that the top laners look better on Echo, but I still have to go with, I mean, Spawn says it all the time, that Poppy versus Echo, I love Poppy, especially when these two teams are coming down to executing on 5v5s. We saw it last game. The Poppy ults were so influential in turning the course and the tides of fights just by booting out the correct members, so I definitely think that there's still power here, and yes, he hasn't performed as well on Poppy as he has Echo, but I'm never going to be like, that's a bad pick. Like, that is still a very strong pick. It just comes down to execution.
See, I'm not even going to look past that, though. I look at the top lane, it's like, all Poppy needs to do is survive, and he just needs to be there in fights. Look at the rest of the map as a 4v4, and I just think it's leaps and bounds above for Supermassive what it is available for hard random. They should have prioritized mid lane a little bit higher because Lulu was still on the board. Whilst it's not the best champion in terms of doing damage, they had a team that would have worked phenomenally with a Lulu. They've got a Graves to back it up. They've got the Sivir that can utilize it well. Now that they've got a Lulu Lucian and a Kindred on the opposite side, let's go even Bard as well. Like the amount of threats that team has is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's also the semi-tanks, right, as well, and you even have a Poppy in there, so you can survive, and then you have like the tankies coming from Wild Growth and the Lamb's Respite.
But I do want to quickly touch on hard random's composition if they ever get to fight in a choke point. So it's what I like to call a Venn diagram of murder. So you lay down the Vladimir ult, and then it's just Sivir ricochets for days, and that's going to be massive. On top of that, you add like the splash damage from Graves and like the AoE burst potential that he brings out. So the thing is, if Supermassive ever just face check into all of these ultimates, they will die.
Yeah.
That said, it's about like so many, like I agree, like there's so many tools like the Lulu, the Bard ult, the Poppy disengage, like there's so many ults, Kindred, Lamb's Respite, although we've seen Graves do wonders against the Lamb's Respite. Like there's tools and options there, but again, just comes down to execution and hard random. They've shown like these really kind of quirky and strange compositions, but have done fabulous with them over the course of the tournament, so I'm not going to count them out just yet.
What I will say is team fighting aside, which might be where hard random excel, their laning phase is going to be great. Like, besides mid lane, I think they have a winning bottom lane and top lane. I think the junglers meet each other at a very even crossroads, and they'll be doing quite well. Graves, we've seen a weird amount of success on in comparison to that of the Kindred. The only problem is the Lulu Vladimir. So junglers focusing the mid lane, to me, could actually be an issue.
Yeah, maybe they can get a big advantage, but even from what we saw in the last game, hard random getting an advantage in a late game didn't result in a strong mid game or even a strong late game or a win. At the same time, it's a very punishing comp, as you mentioned, Frost. Like, if they get face checked on, then they're just going to murder them right up. But really getting into a fight, they have Sivir, and they just have to run at them real fast and hope that they can get into a team fight.
It's kind of about where your win conditions are and where you want to fight, like, terrain on the map. Again, choke points, so Dragon Pits, Baron Pits are going to be really massive for hard random, but they do also still have great options for split pushing, especially if Echo gets ahead and starts to run over the top. And likewise, the protection that Sivir is going to offer them if they do open up into a 4-1, just because if Supermassive try to find a teleport flank or try to find a hard engage, Sivir just pops on the hunt, is able to disengage and give Echo more space. On the other side, let me look at this. It's really about fighting around towers. There's a lot more tools to fighting around towers on Supermassive's comp just because you do have Bard, Kindred, and Lulu. So they want to fight near towers, taking objectives. Hard random want to fight in choke points and around monster objectives.
Well, as a quick update, guys, we do have like a keyboard issue, I believe, over in the venue, so we're just waiting for that to resolve before we head into game. So we're just going to chat a little bit more about these compositions. We won game 2 if you've just joined us. Supermassive took the first game in very convincing fashion after the early game. But hard random, not out of this just yet. You can see the crowd getting hyped in the venue over there in Mexico. Very cool looking arena. But also going back to the composition from hard random and specifically the drafting, we saw a lot of focus in terms of mid lane bans. We had 5 mid lane bans, just straight up. Nivea, Ryze, Lissandra, LeBlanc, and Azir. And then when your fallback is Vladimir, is that a problem for hard random? Or do you think it's fine?
A blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
The Vladimir does a lot of work, but there are strict conditions with which you usually pick the Vladimir. And that's either a lack of crowd control or 2 carries in mid and jungle respectively. So you're safe and you can play forward, you can play aggressively and make things work out for you. I'm looking at a Kindred Lulu. So in the way of crowd control, it's not too great, but the damage is unreal. The question is, will StoneMage look towards mid lane or will he actually hyper farm? And to me, that comes down to what Stayos can force on him by being aggressive with that Graves once again.
Well, Stayos getting that Graves is obviously a big deal. Has been the real big champion for him in this tournament so far. And even that last game, yes, he got fed, but he wasn't able to carry, but he's still going to be a threat regardless. Dumble Doge is going to head into the bot side. Nice sidestep from Miracle just to start off this game, but the meep landed, so damage advantage, Dumble Doge.
And
that
money.
Ignite. And the money as well, running that Bandit. And yeah, Kieran is mid lane with the Vladimir. Not many Vladimir players nowadays, but it would be the Russians to pick him up.
Of course. We do have a standard 5-point start, though, covering all 5 entrances of the jungle. Last game, we saw a lane swap initiated. This time around, it looks like we are just going to get the 2v2. That said, Lucian and Bard incredibly punishing. Sivir, Thresh, a lot of kill pressure there as well.
I think SuperMassive should actually be looking for lane swaps, and not because it's the best case scenario. I think you hide mid lane well with a lane swap. I think that it unlocks StoneMage as well to be a bit more aggressive and pick his lane as he would please. But with standard lanes, if SuperMassive just start losing lanes, right, and there's a possibility that more than one lane just starts losing, then you'll actually find that it's very difficult for Hard Random to get anything done.
Whoa, Licorice. Took a lot of damage there. Ignite even went down by Dumbledore at level 1, just trying to pick up a kill there. No exhaust or no heal or no summoners at all from Hard Random were used. So Dumbledore just went in and didn't get anything for it. So actually you do have that small advantage over to Hard Random in terms of the summoner spells.
Yeah, and likewise, he does have the Targon's proc, so he will be able to recoup a little bit of that health back as the lane goes on. We did see him pop his pot, or pop a pot, excuse me. Something that I wanted to point out is maybe they're not going for the lane swap here just because it is a Kindred, and that sounds kind of weird, but the idea is if you start on the top side of the jungle, which we know she's going to, it opens up gank potential on the bottom side, and effectively that just gives Kindred more tools and more options in stacking those marks through or via champion kills. So it could have just been like a conscious decision that StoneMage is going to be the carry in the setup here, so let's put him in a scenario where Chu and Double Doge get to work with him.
Definitely makes sense in this early game. Still just farming up. So we have standard lanes in this one. Last time we had the lane swap, so we'll see if the supports actually start roaming anymore, because in the lane swaps you have more freedom just to unlock those supports. In lane swaps, or in standard lanes rather, you actually have to make that conscious decision that you are kind of leaving your AD carry out to dry. Mid lane, no, just putting pressure down in the early game. This is kind of to be expected. As you mentioned earlier, Rusty, you have these strong laners apart from Vlad. When you have Lulu in the middle lane, in the early game at least, she does really well into most matchups, and Vlad is no exception. If nothing else, she'll do even better into this matchup.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Everyone does well into Vladimir.
True.
Pretty much just
Very
puts
true.
himself into a hole by champion design, but will naturally start to outscale, you would imagine, the Negatron Cloak as well as the level 7 mark. Items and levels are very kind to that champion. Things will start to turn around, but until such stage, once again, this is possible. Early and deep advances.
Vladimir's a very interesting pick in terms of itemization as well. Just over the last couple of seasons, he has so much flexibility because he benefits basically from every AP item in some way. It just depends on the game. He's also like one of the only champions that runs Will of the Ancients, which is like an item that you may have forgotten existed, but just still
Used to be
exists.
called
Vlad
Team
likes
Book,
it.
now the Selfish Book.
Yeah, yep. Is very much so for Vladimir. So I want to see which direction he goes in this game.
I would like to see Kira go a bit more defensively and make use of the Spirit Visage and how well that works with Vladimir, simply because, again, they don't really have a tank line. It's more of like a pseudo-tank line between Echo and Vlad, so I think he needs to pick up some slack there as opposed to just being a true carry. He's there to facilitate Stay Host and Miracle.
Makes sense to me. StoneMage, he's in the bottom side of mid, got the double buffs. But unfortunately the spawn was on the top side, so RNG'd out of his first mark of the Kindred. Yeah, feels bad. Man, Sturgos just taking the rest of his jungle here. So early game junglers haven't really met each other just yet, but to be expected.
This is still, I'm sorry, this is just disastrous. Like, this middle lane does not exist for Hard Random. They're playing a 4v5 till further notice.
I
like,
mean,
he is behind a level, he's behind farm, and that's not going to slow down anytime soon.
like you said, everyone has a good matchup into Vladimir, and He is taking a lot of skill shots to the face, though, I will say that. But look at the farm disparity. 40 farm to 25 at this stage in the game. Faldrin, at least top lane's going well for Smurf, even level 4 versus level 5. And is either going to get the parallel convergence, doesn't quite get the stun down. Faldrin returns a bit of damage, but we'll start heading back to base. Mid lane, Stomage is just backing up Naru as well, just in case Zejos happens to be there. But even under tower, look at the pressure coming out from Naru.
Well, he gets to be that aggressive simply because Stomaged is in the area, and they know that even if this comes out to a 2v2, they have the advantage.
Look at the
He's
damage.
got the Q. Oh, no.
Oh,
Good
pulled out
pull.
of it, yeah. He knew the timings of Naru's combo, but when you're so far back, he was basically almost as in a turret, and when you have to fear Lulu at that threat range, it's disgusting. But almost a 20 CS advantage just built up in that middle lane alone. That's basically perfect CS from Naru, actually, because he hasn't been forced out of the lane. So now Stayhouse is picking up a lot of this as well, and it's not looking good for Kira, at least in the first couple levels.
And meanwhile, Naru is like a challenger approaches. Who's next?
Yeah, I'll take you. I'll take on everyone. Miracle and Licorice are kind of locked in the bottom lane now, so they won't be coming up for a while. Last game,
So many bans.
so many bans in mid lane.
Like mid lane bans,
Yeah,
and they
5.
forgot Lulu existed.
Yep. And of
weird.
course, Naru plays it, so I don't know, because they banned out the Azir and LeBlanc against him. It's like, yes, they're strong champions, but did you really need to ban the Azir? Like, that was not primarily the reason you lost that last game, but nice flay in the bottom lane. Double Doge, he's out, see ya! Takes the magical journey back to safety. Achu will just back off to his tower.
And we talked about, maybe Stomage would look for the bottom lane to try to get them snowball ahead, but he is actually creeping up into the back here, and the 3v3 is continuing. Stayhouse trying to reset the lane for his bot lane.
Yeah, he's still sticking around. Wow, the hook onto Double Doge. He can't really follow up. If he pulled the trigger, he'd be under tower and would probably die. But Stomage, he just appears in the bottom lane. Stayhouse going to take this lantern back to safety. Over to Miracle. He's good to go. Kira, he's been back how many times now, guys? 3?
I've lost count, but it's
Yeah.
also the fact that every time we
Make it
go
4.
mid, he has no health. Like, this is the sign of a losing middle lane. I'm going to go get 40 health.
46 health. I mean, it's something, right? Every little helps, but one Glitter Lance will probably kill him with a W coming in here.
So Naru's level 7. And Stonemage may not have his ultimate, but Naru having his means diving is 100% achievable.
There's a lot of clench going down in this middle lane. Sanguine Pool, but he's got the Hell Picks on top of him. Got to run away. Okay, he gets out of range, and there was no Glitter Lance because he just used it. But Stonemage is also in the bottom side, so there's a very small place that Kira has safety in his lane, and it's somewhere near his base. Like, again, there's another 40 health.
But I like the communication coming out of Supermassive. They could have pulled the trigger, Rusty's right, on looking for the dive, but knowing that the bot lane was back, you saw Licorice immediately booking it up towards the mid lane. Thresh is roaming, he's back, probably has a sight stone, he's either going to place wards or he's going to help that Vladimir. Don't dive.
We know it's Licorice, right? So
Yeah.
is he placing wards or is he helping mid lane? I think it's a pretty defined decision. But you're right, very aware from Supermassive, and you can tell they're in a best of 5. Turkey notoriously good in best of 5 series as well. Even historically accurate in the All-Star tournament, which is something you wouldn't expect to make much sense.
It's weird too, because they've been very good over the course of this tournament, specifically at disengaging from situations and maximizing their resources across like disengaging and saying, there's no reason, we got the objective we wanted, just back up from this, we'll start getting chip damage elsewhere on the map.
Well, the interesting thing in this game is it's less interesting and more sad that Vladimir is getting bodied in the mid lane. He hasn't even got the Hextech Revolver yet, which is
He's got
what
the double
Vladimir-
book.
Yeah, he needs it. I don't even understand how that works. It's a buck into a gun, which builds into a buck. But maybe it hides it somewhere in the
Knowledge
book.
is
I don't know.
power.
Knowledge is power. There we go. We've discovered it on the IWCI broadcast here. But
It's not actually
also,
power right
like,
now.
no,
it's
it's
a bad
really not.
place to
Well,
be.
the problem is it's the 2 bucks, right? So when you have the gun, that's where the power comes out.
But you can also turn it into a gun as well. Like, you have the option
Ah.
after you get it. Do you want a book or a gun?
Yeah, power is
weird.
power. Well, knowledge is power.
Maybe it's one of those books with, like, the pages cut out and it's gun inside.
On the bright side, though, closer to level 9, hit that initial power spike that you were talking about, Rusty, with the level 7, which means he has more points in his queue. Obviously, when he's level 9, gets the max. And that's when Vladimir starts to have a better time as good spell shield, but not needed.
Yeah, not in range. That's actually one of those rare times you probably want to walk back into the skill shot to get the mana. But at this point, it's not too bad. He backed very recently.
Teleport's behind,
There's
2
the
of them.
ultimate on the hunt. Teleport's coming out, Sejos as well, but Dumbledore,
Oh.
I think he's pretty dead. He takes the magical journey. That's the ultimate coming out. Sejos will follow him down. Collateral damage, can't outrun a bullet.
And the big thing, of course, was where the box placement was. Licorice doing a phenomenal job right there. So unfortunately for Dumbledore, he actually ticked 2 corners of the box going through and just ate that slow as well as the collateral damage.
Hurts. Maybe he was able to get to the magical journey a little bit faster, but I think still Stedos would have taken him out. Stonmage into the bottom lane is going to be clearing away this mini wave, so not going to be picking up the tower. Do get 50% of the health off and clear out the vision in the bottom lane. Maybe they can go dragon as well with the pressure they've accumulated. But Kira, he's still chugging along in the middle lane, taking more damage, trading off against Naru. He's actually getting a fairly good trade, but he's so low right now. Anything from Naru will kill him.
He does really need to respect the fact that Stay House is underneath him, though.
Yeah. Now he has to recall.
Looking for a sneaky little lance.
It's only going from like bad to worse right now in this middle lane. The teleport, however, didn't even give him anything.
No, Revolver hype, though. It's almost 11 minutes into the game, and Kira has managed to pick up his Revolver. So that, honestly, is a massive help for Vladimir in that lane, but you want it maybe in half the time.
In a very awkward... Oh.
He's good.
So much respect by Supermassive given. Like, I agree. Like, I think that was 100% kill worthy if they decided to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah. Just kind of watched him. Like, I don't
Just
get
observing.
Every step he takes, he is being watched. Stedos taking his jungle once again.
Subtle.
Yeah. Always with the subtle references. Stonmage also at the bottom side of the map, clearing this one out. So small advantage over to Supermassive in this game. But not as massive as we saw from Hard Random, even though that didn't resolve in anything bigger. But is this a good laning phase for Hard Random? Because they haven't been crushed. They have 1 kill on the map so far. And Vladimir, yes, he's very far behind, but at least he's scaling, right?
Haven't been crushed. There's an organic lead of 1,000 gold when Hard Random have the first blood through basically a farm discrepancy. 72 to 117, that's quickly closing in on doubling his CS.
But is your goal just to survive, right? Because we're talking about this is like a punish comp, and you want to scale with the Vladimir, you want to scale with the rest of these picks. So, yes, they've lost in farm disparity, but they're not dead.
No, they're definitely not dead. Like, Carbon on the desk saying it was
Silver
GG.
linings?
Oh, hello.
Oh.
The direct counter to Graves, walls.
Run away. Yeah, and walls, minions, in fact, anything, really, that you can stick behind you and him.
Purple side Bard is just so punishing when he gets to play it. It's one of those really strong color picks. Not a lot of champions have really strong color matchups, but Bard in particular, when he gets to be on that bottom side, and exactly because of what you just saw on your screen. The shape of the map, the fact that he gets that really long exit path out with the magical journey, super punishing.
Oh, Kira, you can see a little bit more sustain in the mid lane. And now he's actually getting to trade even with Lulu because her damage will start to peter off later into the game and his will start to ramp up. So we'll hit that point at some point. It's not this point.
People always say that Lulu's damage falls off, which is technically true at about, 35 to 40 minutes. But majority of these games, because it snowballs so quickly, Lulu's damage is still quite effective, especially because we know that Naru is going to go for a Lich Bane after his Spell Thieves. At least that's what he's been doing over the course of the tournament. I don't expect him to change now.
No. Oh, Kira going into the Sanguine pool. Yeah. But Stephens was there, so he was able to get away from that. Good cunning will split up the both bot laners, but there was no one to close in on the top side. So going to be okay in the bottom lane. But yeah, for sure, especially the way these Lulus have been building in terms of their spikes. They constantly hit these spikes around like the 50-minute mark, 20, 25, and then later into the game, yeah, sure. But we're never really getting to 50-minute games, so
when a game ends between 25 to 30 minutes, Lulu is still very relevant, your damage there, and Naru will show you just that.
For sure. Faldrin haven't actually paid a lot of attention to top lane. A lot of the action's been happening around mid lane, the junglers, bot lane, but top lane has just been chugging away. And this Echo pick has not demolished the Poppy. He was trading very well in the early game, but, I mean, Poppy's in a good shape.
The idea is survive the lane, right?
Yeah.
Like I said that at the start of the game. Right now, Faldrin's doing better than that by somehow being up by 10 CS, but that was mostly the teleport Smurf used to go to the bottom lane. So this is still a win for Supermassive because towards the team fights, very much relevant.
And I want to talk about the team fight again in execution. Something that Poppy and Lulu have a ton of synergy on is their ability to isolate factors in a team fight. You think about Lulu's ability to slow down multiple members, to speed someone up, to create distance, and that's so punishing against Hard Random's comp in particular because, again, it's the Venn diagram of murder. They need everything stacked up together, and so the ability for Poppy to knock someone away or multiple members away, and then Lulu to create space and pull the line of scrimmage apart from the back line. Again, so many tools for better execution. Just have faith that hard random can just smash their face into a choke point.
Yeah, that's the goal.
5 flashes and
5
confuse them.
flashes, just all in, because that's pretty much the way they have to get into these fights, because there's no real hard engage. You run at them with Sivir and hope for the best.
Flank. Flanks are so important
Flank.
for this comp.
Yeah. Falgent taking away this pink. Stomage is looking to maybe get something in the top lane, but Smurf, level 11, tier 2 ultimate, full health. Probably not going to die very easily.
I think they want the Herald, but the amount of pressure that's now coming down in this middle lane, you can see how it slowly goes towards the favor of the Vladimir. Numbers are here now.
Good fate onto Vlad and the tower. Probably wanted one or the other. And will flash out of the way immediately. Teleport in
hook.
response. Great hook from Liquid.
Oh.
He goes in. Doubleman Flay. Tejas as well. And now Dumbledore's back into the circle to try and keep himself alive. But this should be a big win for Hard Random. Faldrin a little late to the party, but knocks 2 people away. Tejas now separated from his team. Naru desperately trying to get in range to land some of his damage. Will get a shield off at the very least. 2-0 and his tower will be going down.
He has to
Wow.
completely back off, though, just because of the threat of a ricochet coming off the tower, which is why Naru is continuing to respect.
One crit from the Critichet could be enough to take him out, but now he's got a decent amount of health back coming in from the sustain.
Meanwhile, they do manage to chip away the tower in the bot lane, trading it for mid lane, so not completely awful for Supermassive, but huge props to Liquid. That hook turned that fight around.
Yeah, pardon me for saying no engage. When Liquid's playing and he can land every single hook ever and then land a follow-up into Flay and Box, yeah, then you have engage.
We'll call it non-committal CC.
Yeah.
That's what we always call it, Frostgoon.
Yep.
We did see a lot of glimpses, however, of what both teams are capable of doing. The Kindred ultimate is also very good into Vladimir, because whilst you're doing all of this damage and you're destroying everyone's health bars, to put down the Lamb's Respite just denies a lot of that period of time where the strength lies for Hard Random.
In the end, it didn't really end up mattering. Dumbledore was like, I see the circle, I'm going to go back into it. But unfortunately, everyone else from Hard Random's here. Good sidestep from the Glitterlands, but mid tower goes down. So despite winning that team fight from Hard Random, they just pick up 1 tower, and Supermassive picked up 2 just from rotational plays immediately after.
And it really goes back to, again, that organic lead that's been created in the lanes through CS discrepancies and just straight up winning your lanes. So 3 kills to Hard Random, but they're still down in gold.
I don't see the lane change here. Is it snipe battles? Yeah. I don't see how putting the Lucian top lane against the Echo is a smart idea.
Kill pressure on Lucian.
Yeah,
Agreeing.
exactly. Like Smurf can kill the Lucian very easily on his Echo, which means the Dumbledore has to be with him. If there's one thing Dumbledore does not do, as you can see him going bottom right now, whereas
Good.
AD carries on the opposite side of the map.
You good.
He's redefining the word support.
Where is my support? Bottom?
Yeah. Supporting himself. He's not supporting the ADC.
Dragon's up.
Dragon's up, so I'm going there. It's just like, I don't know. It's like Lucian's strong in a long
That
lane. So is
sums it
Echo.
up so well, doesn't it? It's like
Yeah, it
Dragon's
really
up, we're
does.
going to Dragon, and the AD carries like, we're going where?
Faldrin. Yeah. And Liquid coming in, and Faldrin is legit just by himself, but he's tanking 4 people, pops the ultimate onto 2 players, and now the rest of the team is trying to help him out. So many resources being used, collateral damage, Kira as
No
well.
way.
He's gonna fall to these for the ultimate.
But meanwhile, top lane, Smurf takes a tower, so they pick up Hard Random pick up a kill as well as the tower objective in response to the dragon, and he's still getting chip damage on this 2nd tier.
I guess he's getting a lot of damage on that one, in fact, and Smurf will get the shields, and Ashioni now arrives. And yeah, so it actually worked really well for Hard Random. Was that 2nd dragon really worth it? Because so rarely are we even getting to a timer in the game where you can even think about getting 5. I think last game we had 4, and that was split between both teams.
Well, 2nd dragon's a little bit punishing.
Yeah, for the tower damage. Sure.
Yeah.
You need to hit towers for that to work,
Yeah,
however.
exactly.
But you get the vibe that Supermassive are trying to accelerate the map where they can. By taking that dragon, now's a really good time to open up the map, get that top lane turret, and then try and utilize just objective control, vision control, make picks with it. They have the superior team fighting team. They're allowed to execute.
Did he just taunt him?
Yeah, he did.
Wow, well
think.
played there. Yeah, he just walked up to the bush towards it, and I think taunted him. So, props. I mean, Kira, he knew he didn't have flash and he didn't have ult, so I guess he's not really any kill pressure. He didn't have Rylai's either, so it's not like Vlad's going to chase you down. But he's still 3-0-0 in this game. There's the Woter, and he's definitely caught up, for sure. Those 3 kills have helped a lot. So it looks like he's going for Rylai's now with his current build.
That's the big thing that you underline there, is the fact that he was the beneficiary of so many kills going in his way, which is really compensated for how hard he lost the mid lane. Likewise, because they have Sivir, they have tools that even though that mid lane is down, that they can continue to wave clear pretty effectively, while Vlad continues to level up.
Very true. Kira is, yeah, he's at the stage where he can just clear camps and clear minion waves incredibly easily. Stonmage taking that red buff for himself as well. How's he doing on stacks? 3 so far at 20 minutes. It's okay. It's not spectacular, but not bad either. Top lane is currently sitting on the Iceborne Gauntlet and the Sunfire Cape. Very similar items as well in the top lane from Faldron. So I haven't seen a massive impact from the top lane just yet in this game. Naruk's going to find Kira in the bottom lane. Just polymorph, harass combo, walk away. Kira can't do anything about it.
Like, there's no trading anymore that's going to work out favorably for Naru. Like, that was a good trade. I'll see you next wave when I'm back to full health once again and we can start from scratch.
Yeah.
That's basically what's happening right now. There's also, so Lichbane with his current build is really good for split pushing, really good for taking down turrets and securing objectives.
But he has no one he can split push against, like the Echo and the Vlad.
There's no winning split push lane for him right now. I would have much preferred to see like an Abyssal Scepter with the Morellos and actually work around your team fighting so that you survive through the Vladimir and you're relevant with the teleport.
Yeah, just sitting in that bot lane, but you're totally right, Rusty. Like, Kira was just going to continue getting all his health back, continually stacking Tides of Blood, and now Transfusion is giving him so much health. And Stonmage back into his jungle. So, kind of hitting points in the game, we're getting a lull in the action. We had a lot of fighting for the first 20 minutes.
And this was an issue that we've talked about with Kindred over the course of this tournament, is that Graves just has so much more of a consistent power spike simply because it's an RNG factor of how quickly Kindred's going to snowball. Typically, it takes her time to ramp into her full final form, if you will. So
That is sated.
yes, but SuperMassive still like definitely waiting on Stonmage and their other carries to take off, especially now that Naru has been neutralized, like you said, in these side lanes against either Echo or Vlad.
I haven't really seen bot lane interact a whole lot with the rest of the map. They've kind of been locked down there, which is ironic when you look at these supports and how much they usually roam. Dumbledore has roamed a little bit, Liquid into the mid lane. All 4 of those kills have kind of been on his back, honestly. But the ADCs have just been in the bot lane by themselves. Faldron going 1 versus 1 on Smurf, but with the tower down, I'm not really sure about that trade. Echo, he excels in those long lanes, especially when the towers are down, because he just chases you down, he speeds himself up, he slows down the opponent, and then you die.
Naru's going to fight and lose it.
Yeah, this is not good for him. Flash aggressively and flash defensively from Naru, and Kira, the damage is mounting up. Hemo Plague, Tides of Blood, and gets the slowdown with the Rylai's. Bod even coming out there trying to save his ally, but it's just not going to happen. And Vladimir, he's turned online.
There aren't many things that I can say positively towards Naru here. Firstly, the item build feels wrong to me, knowing that he's against the Vladimir. Choosing to fight the Vladimir as well is just a big mistake because he'll get constantly chunked out. Stonmage is having to go though.
Oh, end of the line lands from Stehos. That is a little bit risky. Both junglers drop low enough where they both just want to back away. On the hunt, use Liquid looking for the fillet. He lands it, the box as well. The slowdown before he gets behind the tower, keep his verdict. Whereas Faldron looking to throw it, nowhere. So he's able to zone him away regardless. Hammer Shock is enough to clear the wave. And the rest of the team is looking to back him up. So hard round to get anything in the top sides of the map. But Kira, he's starting to get to the point where he's a real issue. And it was just really from that mid lane play because he was straight up shut down out of that laning phase from Naru. But those 3 kills alone just like rockets them into Vlad mode.
It's like the Master Yi of the mid lane, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens during laning phase.
35
you get
minutes?
Him, yeah, you get him those items, he's always going to be a big deal.
The solo queue nightmare, but in competitive. Yeah, but it's just not fun, you know? It's just like, but we shut him down, we did everything right, and then he just happened to pick up all the kills in that fight. Flash hook doesn't land onto Naru, but Liquid tried.
The big thing, though, is you look at Vladimir's scoreline, and then, hey, check out Liquid's scoreline. See anything?
Whoa.
Weird.
Yeah.
No, this guy all over the map. And I do want to quickly touch on the play that they attempted to make happen top lane. Yeah, they weren't able to execute or to find the kill on Faldron's Poppy there. Didn't even have to burn the flash. But the mentality there was correct. They're starting to pull Supermassive around the map. And the big thing is the change of pace here. So the fact that Hard Random now have the gold lead, but they're also controlling Supermassive, where for the majority of the series, it's been Supermassive with the driver's seat.
Bottom lane, Kira. He beat one person, but now he's in this 1 versus 2. Look at the damage out from the Hemo Plague. Amplified up that damage. Sanguine Pull, waiting for those cooldowns. Procs the Mordman Mortius and gets the shutdown.
That was good.
That was a good wild growth as well. TP coming
He
in from
followed it.
Smurf.
Wow.
Oh, he's going in. The ball's on Smurf. He's out. See ya. Back up to top lane. I take that back. He's just going to carry on farming. And Smokestream comes out, but he should be able to pick up this tower now. He's got a mini wave coming in there.
Naru does have teleport, so he can answer it should the tower be in much trouble, but it looks like Supermassive going to collapse on the dragon. And there we go. There's the TP and consolidate their objectives.
So should be able to defend this, but top tower's dropped very low. Nope. It was a good attempt on the boomerang, but yeah, Stonewitch had to horribly miss smite. Naru, question mark. Not entirely sure. He's making some very questionable
It's
decisions
almost like
in terms
he's
of
not
trading.
built to split push, but he has a split pushing build.
Yeah.
He's built to PvE. Let's be fair. Echo does magic damage, Vladimir does magic damage. He's running teleport as his mid laner, which means I'm just going to sit here and question him endlessly. But they get themselves the 3rd dragon for that. So one big pick onto the overextended Kira. Follow that up with the objective. This is still Supermassive playing towards their strengths. But they're also exploiting their weaknesses because Hard Random are capitalizing through 1-3-1 now.
I feel like mid lane gets a little crazy when you put 5 mid lane bans out there. It's just like, okay, now what? Lulu, Vladimir, okay. And then they're just kind of a little thrown off. But apparently in this circumstance, Kira is the one who excels. So he flourishes in this weird circumstance. But Licorice, he's in the mid lane looking for another hook to land on someone. Try and get another pick off.
So this actually comes back to the initial point that was said at the top of the block, and that we don't know what Naru's champion pool is because he primarily plays LeBlanc, Azir, Lissandra, and he had one other game on another champion, which was a loss. So we haven't seen all of what Naru has to offer. This Lulu does not feel like it's offering much besides laning phase, but we know that Kira has deep pockets. We know he's got a lot of champions. He's an Anivia main that commands that ban. He's played this Vladimir in 1 already. He has so many champions available to him, and laning phase aside, Kira feels more comfortable.
But if we take a step back and look at this game, there is not a big gold disparity. 700 gold is not a lot. The towers are equal. 3 dragons over to Supermassive, so they're in good shape. And they have 2 ADCs who are actually not doing badly in this game. Bot lane's out-farming his counterpart. Stonewitch in the jungle is gradually stacking up, looking for this more carry-orientated build. So really, they are in a good position. You just really have to fear this Vladimir, but if they can shut him down, then the fight is basically theirs. However, he is vamping a lot, and if he gets in the middle of 5 people and pops Tides of Blood, everyone's going to die. So just very difficult to play around this Vladimir right now.
Yeah, and I've always really liked Sivir with Vladimir. Again, one of the big primary things that he lacks is his ability, like Rise, to kind of get into a team fight. Flanking is incredibly important, so it's nice that they have a double TP, that he also has that summoner spell, and once the home guard comes online for him, able to utilize that and look for flanks, but more importantly, on the hunt.
Yeah, what they need is a Callista, and then bind him, and then throw him into the fight. And then it's just like, oh, you need a gap closer?
Nope,
No, we'll do
too
it.
far. It was close.
Yeah, but yeah, double TP. It's good, and yeah, the vision control has definitely been pretty good from Hard Random. It's kind of all over the place right now from both teams.
Deep.
Well, they put it down bottom here because the easiest objective for them to siege on the map was going to be the last standing outer, which they did a good job picking it up. At this point now, they need to pick up their vision and they need to move it to the top side of the map. Again, the dragon is down, so there's a 6-minute window where they actually can play around the Baron area without contesting there.
Flash
As everything
play,
misses.
but that's a lot of flashes coming out. I think 4 people just flashed in quick succession.
Yep, but more importantly, the fact that the top tier tower is very, very low, which means that someone from Supermassive will constantly have to be on the defense there, especially with Echo utilizing his TP as well as the Echo relocation. If he wants to have some crazy cross-map plays, juking people out.
Yeah, I already saw it in this game. That's like the nice thing and the bad thing about Echo, because like you can teleport in, and if it's not working out, you can just peace out back to top lane, especially if top lane doesn't have TP, or you can force a TP as well. But sometimes you want to jump in and you want to stay in the fight, but if you're going to die within those 4 seconds, then you don't have that safety net, and you have to pull the trigger and leave the fight, and basically leave your team 4 versus 5. So there's always that option.
This is really risky. I like the idea that they're continuing to apply pressure on Kira and trying to catch him overextended again with multiple members. It was really lucky, though, that Supermassive went for that, where they pulled Kindred to the bottom side of the map while Sivir was looking for a back. She ended up canceling her back just because they saw on vision where Kindred was. But again, playing on the bot side, especially against the likes of Sivir Graves, is very dangerous right now with the Baron coming up. But the team should start to readjust their focus to the bottom as Dragon is now 1 minute 30 seconds out.
Well, we've got a couple items being picked up now. Black Cleaver out of the jungle coming in from Graves, but also the Phantom Dancer out from Stonemage in this one. We've got a lot of people coming into the top lane. There's a lot of men chasing Faldrin down as the W being charged up, trying to get the stun out Faldrin. Nice sidestep, but the tower will be falling. Faldrin, he now needs to run away, but he just kind of walks back into them. Tempest Fate doesn't land on anyone, goes right between the goalpost, and 3-man keep his verdict, but it's too late, and Dumbledore isn't able to save him.
But the reason why Hard Random are up there is because, again, Dragon's about to respawn. They've already set their triangle vision deep there, so they need to make use of the wards before the Dragon comes up. We know that this tower is low. You know the play is going to be made there.
Now, the top tower siege is coming out. Good call comes from Achu, and the mini wave is so far away. There's nothing really that Hard Random have to gain up here, apart from maybe a random hook landing from Licorice. Bot lane, again, Kira is just pressuring in Naru. The tables have been turned, and he'll just continue to put down the pressure. And Hard Random getting this deep vision, doing everything they need, getting those flank wards, pushing in this mid lane, doing everything well. This is a very interesting build coming out from Stonemage with the Phantom Dancer out of the jungle, and we haven't really seen him sit in the side lane either for the dueling. So what do you think about this one, Rusty?
Oh, man. I don't know. I would have preferred the Hurricane for the team fighting. I think as far as dueling goes, he's kind of indirectly doing it during team fights, which is a pretty cool thing, I guess, to expand on. He's always hitting Kira.
Yeah.
So Kira's going to be doing less damage for it, and whilst it does a lot of AoE damage, the individual member that is a Mora Malmortis Phantom Dancer Kindred should not be dying to Kira and can actually do enough damage to keep him down.
Bard mechanics. And has to flash away, actually, culling a lot of damage. And Dark Passage will bring him back to safety very briefly. But Flash being down from Vlad is actually pretty big for these fights.
Yeah, and it gives them the advantage on the Dragon position. And reminder, Supermassive have all of the Dragons for the game.
Graves
this will be Dragon 4. Good sidestep.
Yeah. Smurf coming in there as well. Power up convergence chasing down. Time Winder comes out. Stonemage, he just wants to get to the wall to hop over. Gets it. And did go into that life grip passive in from the Mora Malmortius. Now Hard Random again have momentum, and the mini wave is already being pushed in by Kira, so this should be an easy sweep. Naruto being chased down, Kira as well, parallel convergence, doesn't quite land, but zoning him away. Dumbledore trying to get up in the grill of Kira. He doesn't care that Kira is 4-1, he's still going to try and hit him with the meeps. Faldrin coming in from behind. They're going to try and pull the trigger here. Keeper's verdict lands onto Kira. He's going to go in, Hemoplay comes out, Licorice looking for the hook, doesn't land. Stonemage dropping low, instant ultimate Lamb's Spike comes out, and Faldrin trying to get involved. Dumbledore just being zoned away, he goes down, and Faldrin still is tanking up this team, but what's he going to do? He doesn't have the damage. That's the second kill of the fight over to Hard Random. Make that the third. Now they're sieging into the fight. They had to do something, but that was not it.
Look at the zone potential from Smurf on this Echo pick. It came up in spades. Achu never had a chance to get into a fight, and the fact is, Smurf's still sitting on his ultimate.
This actually could be the end of the game. That was so smart by Smurf that he was keeping that one caster minion alive, so he uses ultimate just to make that happen. Take down the inhibitor, pushing in. Kira's low, but look at that, one transfusion, 200 health back. He's getting all of this lifesteal. And now that Smurf is coming back in from base, he's full health. They're sieging in. Licorice, he's tanking up the Nexus turrets. Naru is being zoned back to base. And Sehos, he's able to zone him away. Taking a lot of damage. Glitterlance will take down the Graves, but they're just taking down these objectives. Smurf's turned around. There's no way Naru's getting out of this one. And Dumbledore, there's not much he can do by himself. And after all of this, Stonemage, he's trying his best. But Kira, he's got the damage onto the Nexus. And after all of that, Carmen was right. We're going to game 3, 1-1.
Massive performance out of Hard Random right there. We kind of doubted their composition, but they were able to execute it extremely well. In fact, I think we only saw maybe 2 full 5v5s that entire game.
Yeah, barely even, honestly. And it was so simple. It was picks trying to be established, but you can't actually kill anybody from Hard Random. And by forcing themselves around objectives, the crowd control's less necessary, because the engage was actually on Turkey to go in, and Supermassive, they fumbled that engage. They did nothing coordinated, honestly. It felt like, with those mid lane bans, with putting him on Lulu, it felt like a different team.
And I do want to kind of underline the word pick that you said, Rusty, right there, because if you looked at Licorice, it had 90% kill participation. There were 10 kills in the game for his team. He was involved in 9 of them, and this Thresh did so much work. He was the big catalyst for Kira initially getting 3 kills in the mid lane, appearing top lane he was making plays happen. So didn't get the Bard, made it work on the Thresh.
I agree. Like, the big takeaway from me was really Liquid putting the team on his back, because that mid lane was going so badly. But it was like, you mentioned that point in the game for us where it's like he had 4 assists, mid lane had 4 kills. Like, I wonder where that came from. He's like, literally just carried his team. So well played from Liquid, and we need to see more of that in this series. But still, 1-1, so we have at least 2 more games coming up. We're going to send it over to Pastry Time and the gang to take a look at that series.
Thank you very much. And what a game it was. We are going to even things up and effectively push to a best of 3 here in the grand finals. What happened in that draft, boys? Because that was probably our biggest question moving into that one. It was weird. 5 mid lane bans and a pick there for the Lulu. And Kira, he had a bad time to start things off.
Echo forehead.
Champion's pretty good.
Yeah, look, a lot of things that I thought were going to be issues in the draft were not issues due to gameplay. I thought Liquid played amazing. Like I said, they didn't really have any engage whatsoever, and I thought they were really going to struggle to try and find fights that they needed. They had plenty of damage. They had Echo, Vlad was going to scale, they had Siva was also going to scale, so they had tons of damage. They also got the Graves again, so I felt like their entire team comp was really good, but the Vlad not having CC really hurt them. They only had 1 engage tool. Now, lucky for them, Liquid is a beast. 3-man flays, crazy hooks, just unbelievable play from him. And he was the entire team's engage and disengage in one. Just a great game.
Yeah, and I believe he had like 90% kill participation, like Frostgaren mentioned. His Thresh just nowhere, just out of my mind. Like, he just plays something that's
What a meme.
unimaginable in my head.
And like, what a player to carry on support just as a sole engage. Like, teams do this every now and then, but you should not do this. Like, this shouldn't work. But Liquid able to make it work. And I have to say, hard random. Actually, team fighting well just in general. It was a weird comp to fight with, but great baits there in general. I felt like Supermassive were going to have enough of an objective leave to kind of bring it all together, but they just fought wonderfully. Kira just the bait lord.
The late game was really, really good. The mid and the late game were really, really good from Hard Random. But I feel like this is kind of the opposite of last game, where last game, Hard Random had a fantastic start, did all the right things, and then fell apart. This game, I felt like they had an awful start. Echo didn't start with the strong opening build, which is the pot into Dark Seal, Doran's Ring. Those 3 items are so strong together. Dark Seal obviously helping the
Sustain.
The sustain from the pot. Yeah, super strong opening. Didn't do it. He just went pot straight into Boots Ruby Crystal, which is such a poor build, and he got punished early by the Poppy in lane. I felt like the bot lane, they weren't winning 2v2. The Bard was really strong. Jungle wasn't getting that much done. He got 1 kill in 15 minutes. I mean, Kindred didn't do much, but she had really good Dragon secure. And then you look at the mid lane, obvious mismatch, just gets absolutely destroyed by this Lulu.
Yeah, and Supermassive, they were the one who had 4 dragons, and Dragon doesn't win you the game. Killing Nexus wins you the game. I think the biggest culprit in this game is I was actually really disappointed by Naru's build. He went for the classic faker build, the split pushing tower build, whereas personally I think he should have gone for more AP, Morellonomicon, deny that healing debuff, and go for the decap and amplify your ADCs to do more work.
Yeah, he tried to go, like you said, the faker build, and I think that was because they were afraid of Vlad in the side lane. Like, they saw the lane phase, and they were like, okay, like Lulu destroys Vlad, and then Vlad goes to the side lane, and they're like, okay, let's just send Lulu there. But in this comp, like I was saying at the start of the game, during the draft, Lulu Lucian, Hard Random had no answer for it. If they grouped, they had no way to get on the Lucian. Literally, Liquid would have had to hit the most miracle of all miracle hooks for them to be able to win a 5v5 equal gold team fight. But because they went split push build, sent Lulu into the side lane, he was never there to buff the Lucian. Vlad ends up scaling with a couple great picks from Liquid. And then even the last team fight, to be honest, was all on the Poppy. The Poppy came in with a terrible Poppy ult, which only pops up Vlad. Vlad immediately turns around and destroys them all. So I feel like Supermassive kind of, I don't want to say they gave them the game, but they gave them a lot of opportunities.
Well, definitely a few fumbles there, and a nice strong team fighting there for Hard Random does push them through to a win. Don't go too far away. Gantry is coming right up as the teams are tied up 1-1.